everyone, I'm Becky.
I'm Sarah.
And we're doing Bickering Book Reviews. Today we are talking about Scammed by Kristen Simmons, which I got off of, I want to say, Edelweiss.
I really just use Edelweiss. It's the scary NetGalley reading. It's like kept me off there.
See, I don't know. Except I feel like NetGalley doesn't always update the ratings, but that's besides the point. So this is the second book in the Vale Hall series. The first one was called The Deceivers. This book is about Bryn Hilder. And in the first book, she was kind of living in they say projects part of Chicago. And she gets recruited to this fancy boarding school where it turns out that they're actually all con artists. And that they have to work scams and different things go on. And one of the persons that she's scamming in the first book is Grayson Sterling, who's the senator's son. So this book takes place after that, and it's basically about Bryn's life at Vale Hall, about her emerging relationship with Caleb, one of the other boys, who's also doing scam work. And Grayson shows up and kind of throws a wrench into everything that's going on, and basically Bryn has to figure out who does she trust, are the con artists conning each other, plus she then has to start to investigate something at that the senator, Grayson's father, is involved in. And I don't really want to give away more than that because I feel like this is one of those books that it's like Jenga pieces. If I tell you one thing, it all falls down.
I'm so nervous to talk about this book because I don't want to give anything away. I'm terrible at that. I'm so sorry.
So this was it was fun.
So as you're describing it, it kind of puts a firmer point on it to me because now I'm thinking about that one movie scene where it's Martin Short and Steve Martin and somebody else, I can't remember, they're all like pointing guns at each other.
It's kind of Three Amigos?
Yeah, yes. So like they're all pointing guns at each other, and I feel like that's what this book is. Like it's a house of scam artists, so they all have like guns pointing at each other.
Well, and
everybody's gonna die.
I like scam artist books.
Yeah, this one's good.
This is good.
I enjoyed it.
And like it's really readable. That's like the best way to describe it. Like you can't put it down. Like it moves really, really fast. I like Bryn. I like Caleb.
I like the characters.
There's a lot of good secondary characters. I don't like that they changed the cover art. Like they went from these like really cool like graphics in the first cover, and now they have people on the covers. And I was like, oh, they must have made a movie or a TV show or something, and they didn't.
It'd be a good TV show.
It would be a great TV show.
So, and I guess, but like, I remember when we talked about the first book. This is based on Odin and his Valkyries, right?
Yeah.
And I guess I'm still kind of waiting for more kind of more references to that. Like I'm waiting to see more kind of layers of that, and I'm not seeing that as much. But I'm okay with it because the characters are all so developed. I mean, you've got these side characters, and you know like what's driving them, which is not typical. Like I even love Henry.
I love
this,
Henry.
One of the guys that like just loves to hug everybody.
No.
I'm like, that is so adorable. Well, was great.
And I know it's supposed to be Odin and the Valkyrie, but I kept thinking like Fagin and his pickpockets. Like as I was reading it, that's like where I kept going, which is not what it is. But yeah, it's just like I said, I want to talk more, but I don't want to give anything away because it's definitely one of those. Now, you definitely have to read the first book first. And I was reading it. I did not realize that there was a third book. So I get to like the last like 30 pages and I'm like, how is she going to wrap this up? But then I was like, oh, she didn't. And then I'm on Goodreads and I'm like, oh, it's a third book.
Which isn't a bad thing. Like I'm not necessarily upset about spending more time there. I think that it could have been completed. It could have been a duology and it would have
Well, and I feel like duologies are the thing now. And so like I expect a duology. So when there's a third book, I'm like, oh, there's a third book?
I don't know why. I guess I was just, like, I was in a good place with it. Like, I was like, I could be done here. Like, I could be done here. I'm interested in kind of where it's set to go. Like, because it's going to, I feel like it's going to be a very different
because there's a couple twists in this book. And honestly, if she hadn't had that twist, and it was literally just going to be a book series about these, like, kids conning people, I would have read a whole, 10, 15 books just about that, too.
Yeah. It
kind of reminds me of, the Heist Society books, which you didn't like.
I didn't like, but it does kind of remind me of that. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's really much more. Like, I don't want to say too much. It was really good. I enjoyed reading it. I am going to read the next one. Characters are awesome. Like, yeah, it was good.
So our rating system, we're going to rate it. Starts at the top with 5 unicorns, put on 2 unicorns. If we don't like it, it's a horse.
I'm at 4 unicorns.
I'm at a 4 too. It was
I think
enjoyable.
The characters are strong. I like seeing the pickpocket scenes and like the scamming scenes. Like those are fun and interesting, and kind of digging through the layers to see like who can you trust, who can't you trust. Basically nobody, and how that all works out. And
it's just super fast. It's like I said, it's just very readable. Like that's the best way to describe it. So that is where we are on Scammed, and we'll see you around.
All right,
bye.